Yes, now the question is, this is vectors given A, B, C, D. All vectors are of same magnitude, I am saying. Means the length of this, length of this, length of this, and length of this are same. My question is, how many vectors are collinear vectors? How many vectors are collinear here? Please tell the name of those vectors. Which vectors are collinear here? कौन कौन से vector collinear हैं बताइए. What I told you, collinear vector means the vector whose support line should be parallel or same. So can you tell what should be the collinear vectors this time? बोलो भाई. इसकी सपोर्ट लाइन या ये आएगी, इसकी सपोर्ट लाइन ये A, C and D. Yes, A, C and D, they are collinear vectors. Second part, which are equal vectors. Which are equal vectors? कौन कौन से vector equal हैं? Equal means what you should have. Magnitude must be same. Support line should be parallel.
A and C.
And same sense. So it will be A and C. A era or C era. They are equal vectors.
A and C.
A and C are equal vectors. Which are negative vectors of each other. Which vectors are negative vectors?
D.
Yes. Which vectors?
C and D.
C and D are negative vectors. C vector is equal to minus of D vector. One is negative of other. Which are co-initial vectors? Co-initial vectors. Yes, please. Which are
A and B.
A and B? Yes. Co-initial are A and B. Any other?
A and B.
Huh? A and B are co-initial. That is right.
B and C. No.
C and D are also co-initial because their initial point are same. Is it right? So this way you will be having, these are co-initial vectors. A and B are co-initial, C and D are co-initial. So this way you can have the concept of collinear vectors, then equal vectors or co-initial vectors. That way you should keep it. Now coming on next part, addition of vectors. Next topic right now, please. Addition, law of addition of vectors. Law of addition of vectors, also called as law of addition of vectors, that is triangle law. It is also called as triangle law. First write down the definition, then I'll explain it. If two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction, if two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle, by two sides of a triangle taken in same order, then their sum is represented by the third side taken in reverse order. Taken in reverse order is called triangle law of addition of vectors. Is called triangle law of addition of vectors. How to add two vectors? First we should know that. By the way, this is one vector we have. Let this vector is A. Maybe this is the vector B we have. And my question is, you should find out what is A vector plus B vector. Then what I'm going to do here, whenever you want to add two vectors, then head of first vector, we are taking A as a first vector, so head of A vector should join with tail of B vector. So what I'm doing here, A vector आपका ये रहा, ये B vector है, I will construct a vector B which is same here. Because I told you equal vector means what? The vector which are having same magnitude, same direction. But ये जैसे इसका B vector है, तो इसी का ये vector हम यहाँ plot कर सकते हैं, B vector. This is our B vector. This is also called as B vector because they are equal vectors. ऐसे ही हमारा ये वाला vector A है, इसका एक vector हमने यहाँ construct कर. This is called A vector. So what I'm going to do here, when you want the addition of two vector A and B, then we will be joining head of first vector to the tail of second vector. This is A vector, so this is A vector. Its head will be joined with the tail of B. Okay, and then what you do here, now they are in the same order. Same order means arrow joint. Head to tail, they will be joining. Then if you join this head to this tail, if you join this point to this point directly, that is the initial point of first vector, head of the second vector. If you join with the third side of the triangle, ये आपकी third side, this is constructing a triangle and this is called third side. And should be taken in reverse order. Reverse order means इसका order इस तरह से चल रहा है. That is what? It is clockwise. ये कैसे जाएगा? Anti-clockwise. Then this vector will be called as A plus B. So when you add two vectors, what you do? First vector head will be joined with the tail of second vector, and then we are completing a triangle. Then they are in the same order, then this will be in the reverse order. ये जब reverse order में जाएगा तो it will be becoming A plus B. So A plus B will be A plus B. This is the addition of two vectors. This is called law of triangle or law of addition of vectors. Triangle law of addition of vectors, we can say. One more example I'll tell you. Now if I say you take B plus A, in the same question, when you take B plus A, what I am going to do here, I will be first making B vector. Then its head we will take with A. ये यहाँ कहीं आएगा. This is vector A. And then we will be joining this with this line. Then this will be called as B vector plus A vector, so it will be coming as B plus A. And keep in mind, B plus A is this, A plus B करोगे तो भी यही आएगा. This is vector A and this is your vector B. So either you add A plus B vector or you take B plus A vector, they will be coming same. So now you should remember one more thing. The property of addition of vectors says commutative property hold good. That is, either you take A vector plus B vector or you take B vector plus A vector, that come out to be same. This is called property of addition of vectors. So that is first property I told you, that is commutative property hold here. Same way, if you take three vectors A, B and C, if you want to solve, then what I do first, A plus B I'll calculate, and in that you take C. If by the way we have these three vectors, this is vector C we have, and I want A plus B plus C. So what I do here, first I take the vector A, then I take the vector B. This will be my triangle law and showing this is A plus B. Now in A plus B I want C vector. तो ये आपका head हुआ, तो अब इससे C बनाना है आपको, तो ये vector आपका C आ गया. This is vector C, and then when you join it, it will be coming this vector as A plus B plus C. And if four vectors are there, you can go that way also, that is not a problem. And one more thing I told you, this is commutative property hold here, same way associative property also hold here. That means when you add A plus B, in that you add C vector, or you take A vector plus B plus C vector. Any way you do it, you will be calling this as associative law. That is A plus B vector पहले calculate करो, then you add C vector, or you take B and C first and then you add A vector. The result come out to be same. This is called associative property. Right? One more thing you should remember. Existence of additive inverse, additive identity also. Additive identity, what it says that if you have A vector, in that if you add zero vector क्या होता है? केवल एक point vector होता है. A plus zero करो या zero plus A vector करो, the result remain as A. Then zero vector is called as additive identity. And same way, additive inverse also exists, that A vector if you take, in that you add minus of A, then this will come out to be a null vector, zero vector. This will be A vector plus minus of A vector, then also it is coming zero vector. So ये आप A vector में minus of A add करोगे तो आपको null vector मिलेगा. That also you should know. क्योंकि A vector अगर हम लेके चलें तो ये बनेगा OA vector. OA vector is A और minus A का मतलब क्या हुआ? A से O vector. So दोनों vector एक दूसरे के opposite हैं, एक दूसरे को cancel कर देंगे. You will say the result come out to be zero. So these are the four laws we should remember now. Now write one question on it, please. If A and B are vectors determined by two adjacent sides of a regular hexagon, if A vector and B vector are vectors determined by two adjacent sides of a regular hexagon, what are the vectors determined by other sides? What are the vectors determined by the other sides taken in order? Taken in order. This is hexagon we have. And it says this is A, B, C, D, E, F. Two adjacent sides, that is AB vector and BC vector. The two adjacent sides of a regular hexagon are given by A vector and B vector. Then my question is, what is CD vector? You should find out. What is DE vector you have to find out. Same order में चलना है. That is CD vector you should calculate, DE you should calculate, EF you should calculate and FA you should calculate. So how to do this? Can you tell what is DE vector? मुझे ये वेक्टर बता सकते हो?
Equal. Sir, unlike vector.
This is A vector. We have same length here also. But what is the difference? इसकी direction यहाँ है, इसकी direction यहाँ है. What it should be? Minus of it. This vector is A, then this will be minus A. Because their support line are parallel, their magnitude are same. Only the difference in the arrow. This goes left, this will go right. That way you go. What about this vector? Can you tell EF?
सर इसमें ED और EF का इनिशियल पॉइंट सेम है, तो को इनिशियल वेक्टर हो सकते हैं.
No, I'm not asking co-initial. I want all the vectors should be in terms of A and B. EF vector क्या होगा ये बताओ. ये दोनों आपस में पैरेलल हैं.
Minus B.
Yes, it will be minus B. ये वेक्टर और ये वेक्टर दोनों अपोजिट हैं, सेम मैग्नीट्यूड के हैं, पैरेलल भी हैं, so we will say it is B, then this is minus B. So we have calculated this vector, we have calculated this vector, still these two left, and in these two if I calculate one, then a second will be already known, that will be minus of it. So to get this, what we do here, just check. First, can you tell what is AC vector? What should be AC
A plus
vector?
B vector.
A plus B. Vector A plus vector B.
A vector plus B vector. Yes, right. Okay. Then this vector we have to calculate. So I'll just create one more triangle by joining this. Can you tell what is AD vector? हेक्सागन की प्रॉपर्टी होती है कि ये वाली लेंथ और ये डायगोनल एक दूसरे के डबल होंगे. दिस इज द प्रॉपर्टी यू शुड रिमेंबर. दिस एंड दिस आर हैविंग मैग्नीट्यूड डबल. ये भी है तो ये 2b मैग्नीट्यूड का होगा. एरो इसका और ये दोनों पैरेलल है तो इसका मैग्नीट्यूड b है तो इसका क्या होगा 2b. इसका मतलब ये वाला वेक्टर जो हम लिखेंगे दैट आई विल राइट ट्वाइस ऑफ b. And now I should calculate what is CD vector. तो ये हमने अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन से निकाला है, ये भी हमने ट्रायंगल लॉ से निकाला है. अभी ये वेक्टर बाकी है. If I go by triangle rule here, ये अगर हम एक ट्रायंगल रूल लगाएं तो what it will come? AC vector plus CD vector comes out to be AD vector. AC plus CD is AD. What is AC vector we have? It will be A plus B. CD vector we want to calculate, yes. And what is AD vector? That will be twice of B. So what I get here, CD vector will be twice of B minus A minus of B. Then what is my answer? It will be B minus A will be CD vector. So CD vector is coming what? B minus A. तो ये वेक्टर आपका आ गया b minus a. Can you tell what this vector will be? Fa
Minus
A vector plus B vector.
minus of b minus a. We'll write this way, or I should say will be a minus of b vector. Next result, write down multiplication of a vector by a scalar. Multiplication of a vector by a scalar. Multiplication of a vector by a scalar. Scalar means some number. For example, if I have this vector as A, And if I want to multiply or just I want to find out 2a. 2a means one scalar you have multiplied, what that scalar is 2. You are multiplying this by 2 vector. So if this vector you want to multiply by twice, इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि इसका जो magnitude है आप उसका magnitude double करेंगे. So what you should do, whatever the vector A, you will draw another vector which is parallel to it. इसी के parallel एक vector आपको construct करना है, whose magnitude should be what? Double of it. तो ये length अगर 5 है तो ये 10 length होंगी आपकी. And the arrow remains same. Then this will be A, then this will be 2A. So whenever you multiply with a scalar, that means the magnitude will become that times. So if you have a vector A and I want k times of A, means its magnitude should be k times. Other direction remain the same, only the magnitude will be double or k times. That you should keep in mind. So ka vector you should keep. Next one, write down. One more property you should write down. A plus B, by the way, if multiplied by M. A plus B is one vector, B is another vector. You are adding this two and multiplying it by M. M is some scalar. So this is also come out to be MA vector plus MB vector. That you should keep in mind. Now write down position vector of a point. Position vector of a point. This is origin. I want position vector of a point in two-dimensional figure. This is a two-dimensional x and y we are taking. Not the three-dimension, we'll take three-dimension also. If you want to find the position vector of any point, let there is a point P given to you and let its coordinates are x, y. Then if you want the position vector of P point, position vector of P point means you have a vector which you get by joining P to O. If you want the position of point P, then you have to join origin to the point P and putting the arrow outward. O to P, here it is the position vector of point P, arrow always goes outward. So OP vector is the position vector of point x, y. Now, what is x here? We should keep in mind. If I draw a perpendicular, this length I have x. And this will be the length we call as y. This is length x, this is length y. Now, if you take this vector here, first I take vector O, let this point is N. So first if I take ON vector, then I take NP vector, then according to triangle law, what I should say, ON vector plus NP vector comes out to be OP vector. Is it right or no? ON vector plus NP vector is OP vector. That you should keep in mind. So I want what is OP vector here. One thing I told in the beginning also, unit vector, if you remember, it is a vector which only gives the direction of a vector. Direction of a vector will be given by unit vector. That was A cap, if you remember. And I told any vector, if you want to represent, you can write that as magnitude of A into A cap, where this will give you the length of the vector and this will be giving you direction of the vector. So A vector is magnitude of A into A cap. That you should remember. A vector is magnitude A into A cap. ये आपको याद होना चाहिए वेक्टर ए। अब इस कंडीशन को हम यूज अगर करें तो ओ एन वेक्टर का मैग्नीट्यूड कितना है, व्हाट इज द लेंथ ऑफ इट, x, ये आपकी लेंथ इसमें x है, तो वी विल से ओ एन विल हैव लेंथ x। एंड नाउ वन स्टैंडर्ड रिजल्ट यू शुड रिमेंबर, x एक्सिस की जो डायरेक्शन होगी, दिस डायरेक्शन दैट इज x एक्सिस डायरेक्शन, दैट विल बी गिवन बाय अ यूनिट वेक्टर i कैप। ये a कैप की जगह हम x एक्सिस की डायरेक्शन को i कैप से डिनोट कर रहे हैं, तो x o n वेक्टर क्या बन गया आपका, x is the magnitude, i cap is its direction, so it will be x i cap, then plus np वेक्टर, ये वाला वेक्टर np, इसकी लेंथ कितनी है, this is y, and in what direction it will be acting, it will be along y axis, y axis का यूनिट वेक्टर j cap होता है, the direction of y will be j cap, so that means what this will come, y j cap is coming op vector, that you should remember. Now this is called the vector in its component form, ये आपके कंपोनेंट कहलाएंगे, कंपोनेंट अलोंग x एक्सिस, x एक्सिस ये कितना पार्ट है x, y एक्सिस क्या है इसके कोऑर्डिनेट y, ये कहलाएगा कंपोनेंट ऑफ दिस वेक्टर अलोंग x एक्सिस, दिस इज कॉल्ड कंपोनेंट अलोंग y एक्सिस, so this vector op now it is actually the position vector of point p and it will be in the component form written as xi plus yj is op vector। तो ये रिप्रेजेंटेशन अब आपको याद होना है कि अगर आपके पास टू डायमेंशनल केस है तो कोई भी वेक्टर आपका पोजीशन वेक्टर अगर आपको चाहिए तो यू शुड हैव xi plus yj। बाय द वे इसके कोऑर्डिनेट हमारे पास है 2, 3, देन व्हाट शुड बी op वेक्टर, आई शुड राइट दैट एज 2i plus 3j, x आपका 2 है, y 3, so that way you should remember this is called position vector of this point P। तो position of P point अगर निकालना है तो join that with P, so OP will be giving a position vector of point P, this will be x and this will be y, its magnitude x, its magnitude is y, this vector will write xi cap, this vector will write yj cap, then xi plus yj will be OP vector, that is here. One more thing now note here, this is OP vector which is position of point P, if I say its magnitude you calculate, इसका अगर हम कहें magnitude निकालो OP का, now I want OP's magnitude, OP's magnitude means what you want, the length of this, can you get the length of this, can you go by Pythagoras theorem,
OP vector divided by
plus y square under root, we use the Pythagoras theorem. So OP vector is what? It will be under root of x square plus y square. So this is OP का magnitude हो गया, ये उसका representation हो गया. This is a vector representation of unit vector. This is its magnitude. Now if I say this is what? This is simply representation of vector. This is its magnitude. So here one more thing you should remember. Any vector if you want to write, I told you that will be magnitude of OP into its unit vector, OP cap. ये लिखते हैं किसी वेक्टर को, वेक्टर इज मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ दैट इनटू द यूनिट वेक्टर. ये आपका है अंडर रूट एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस वाई स्क्वायर और OP कैप आपकी डायरेक्शन दे रहा है एंड दिस इज OP वेक्टर. So if you want the unit vector of OP, अगर आपको इस वेक्टर का यूनिट वेक्टर चाहिए तो what I write here, OP cap will be vector divided by its magnitude. Vector divided by its magnitude. Vector क्या होगा? xi plus yj and magnitude होगा आपका root of x square plus y square. So OP cap, that is the unit vector, will be vector divided by its magnitude, that will be xi plus yj by under root of x square plus y square. So that you should keep in mind. This will be the vector we will be having, and its direction will be also given here. Is it right? So this will be the component form. You have written a vector. One more thing now, note here. This is again x-axis, this is y-axis, this is origin, this is point P, and let this is point Q. This is point P and this is having coordinate Q. If I say you write the position vector of P, that means I should have this. OP will be the position vector of point P. Position vector of P is what? It is denoted by OP vector. If I say position vector of Q you want, so I'll join this. Position vector of Q. That will be OQ vector. OQ vector is position vector of Q, OP vector is position vector of P. If I say you find out what is PQ vector, I want PQ vector. So is the triangle law valid here? What the triangle law says, OP plus PQ. They are in same direction and this is in the reverse order. So we have OP vector plus PQ vector comes out to be OQ vector. So from this I got it, PQ vector is OQ minus OP. PQ vector is what? OQ minus OP. OQ will be what? Position vector of Q minus position vector of P. That is your position vector. PQ vector is what? Position vector of Q minus position vector of P. That is your PQ vector. तो ये अब आपको याद रखना है. PQ vector, if you have to calculate, this is not the position vector. This is the join of two vectors or 2 points. So PQ vector is what? Position of Q minus position of P. उल्टा हो जाता है. ये Q पॉइंट का पोजीशन पहले आएगा, बाद में इसका आएगा. जैसे अगर आपका आ जाए AB वेक्टर, so I should say position vector of B minus position vector of A. That you should keep. Okay. Now write question on it. The position vector of point A, B, C, D are. Write down. Position vector of point A, B, C and D are, this is point A, B, C and D. They are position vector. Position vector का मतलब क्या हुआ? यहाँ कहीं origin है. तो OA, then OB, OC and OD. इसका position vector A से denote हो रहा है. Position vector of A will be A vector, means ये वाला vector A. Position vector of B is denoted by B. Position of C is denoted by 2A plus thrice of B. And position vector of D is A minus 2B. My question is, find out what is DB vector. Find what is DB vector. So what DB vector should be? Can you tell?
Position vector of B minus position vector of D.
Position of
minus position of D. उल्टा हो जाता है. So what I should say? Position vector of B minus position vector of D. B का position vector क्या है? This is already given B. Minus position vector of D, that is A minus 2B. then what I should write here? B minus A plus of twice B. What my answer will be? Thrice of B minus A will be your DB vector. Same way, find out what is AC vector here. Please find out AC vector. What is AC?
A plus rise
A
of B.
plus BB vector.
AC means position of C first. So it will be 2A plus thrice B minus of A. A will be A only. So what I get here, it will be A plus thrice of B is AC vector. Next one is section formula. Section formula which you have already done. Same pattern is there, only that will be coming in present in form of vectors. For example, if we have this is point P, this is point Q. Let the position vector of this is given by A vector, this is having position vector B. And I want a position vector of some point R, which divide this in m ratio n. This is your A vector. This will be your B vector. And I want now OR vector. That is, OR means position of R. So if you want the position vector of R, what I should say, it will be M, this ratio to this vector, that is MB plus NA by M plus N. The formula is OR vector. So OR vector will be what? MB plus NA.